graders. Let's get back to chapter 28, The Black Heels, in our book, Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. The Black Heels. When we saw the first sign for the black heels, the whispers changed. Remember, Sal's been hearing these whispers saying, hurry, 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 hush, 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 rush, 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 and all these different sayings. So she said the whispers changed, and once again, they were now, because a few chapters ago, it was telling them to slow down. Now they were saying, rush, hurry, rush. We had spent way too long in South Dakota, and there was only 2 days left, and a long way to go. Maybe we should just skip the Black Hills, I said. What? Gramps said, skip the Black Hills? Skip Mount Rushmore? We can't do that. But today's the 18th. It's the 5th day. Do we have a deadline someone didn't tell me about? Gramps asked. Well, we've got all the time in the... Gram gave him a look. I just gotta see these black heels, Gramps said. We'll be real quick, Chickabiddy. The whispers walloped me. Rush, rush, rush. I knew we wouldn't make it to Idaho in time. I thought about sneaking off while Gram and Gramps were looking at the black heels. Maybe I could hitch a ride with someone who drove fast, but the thought of someone speeding, especially around those curves, especially the snaking curves down into Lewiston, Idaho, which I had heard so much about. When I thought about that, it made me dizzy and sick. Hey, Gramps said, I ought to just turn this wheel over to you, Chickabiddy. All this driving's making me crazy as a loon. He was only joking, but he knew I could drive. He had taught me to drive his old pickup truck when I was only 11. We used to ride around on those dirt roads on their farm, and I drove, and he'd smoke his pipe, and he'd tell his stories. He said, well, you're one driver. Whoo, Chickabiddy, but don't you tell your mama I taught you how. She thrashed me half to death. I used to love to drive that old green pickup truck, and I dreamed about turning 16 and getting my license. But then when Mama left, something happened to me. I became afraid of things that I had never been afraid of before. Driving was one of these things. I didn't even like to ride in cars, let alone drive the truck. The black hills were not really black. Pines covered the hills, and maybe at dusk they looked like they were black, but when we saw them at midday, they were just dark green. It was an eerie sight. All these rolling dark hills. A cool wind blew down through the pines, and the trees whished secrets among them. My mother had always wanted to see the Black Hills. It was one of the sights she was most looking forward to on her trip. She used to tell me about the Black Hills, which were sacred to the Sioux Indians. It was their holy land, but white settlers took it as their own. The Sioux are still fighting for their land. I half expected a Sioux to stop our car from entering, and the thing is, I would have been on his side. I would have said, take it, it's yours. We drove through the Black Hills to Mount Rushmore, and at first we didn't think we were in the right place, but then, jing bang, it was right before us. There, high up on a cliff face, were the 60-foot tall faces of Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt, carved right there into the rock, staring down somberly at us. I mean, it was fine seeing the presidents. I've got nothing against the presidents, but you would think the Sioux would be mighty sad to have those white faces carved into their sacred hill. I bet my mother was upset. I wondered why whoever carved them could have at least put a couple of Indians up there too. Gram and Gramps seemed disappointed as well. Gram didn't even want to get out of the car, so we didn't stay long. Gramps said, I've had enough of South Dakota. How about you, Chickabiddy? How about you, Gooseberry? Let's get a move on. By late afternoon, we were well into Wyoming, and I added up the miles left to go. Maybe we could make it. Just maybe. Then Gramps said, I hope nobody minds if we stop at Yellowstone. It would be a sin to miss Yellowstone. Graham said, oh, is that where Old Faithful is? Oh, I would love to see Old Faithful. She looked back at me. We'll hurry. Why, I bet we'll be in Idaho by the 20th without any problem at all. Why do they want to get there by the 20th, do you think? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Our next chapter is chapter 29. And it's called The Tide Rises. All right, meet me back tomorrow and we'll read it together. Bye. See you tomorrow.